Italian photographer Gabriele Galimberti traveled the U.S. taking pictures of Americans with their weapons, and he published a book called The Ameriguns. His photos provide insight into American gun culture and how ingrained these weapons are in our society. Gabriele joins me now. Thanks so much for coming on the show. So, what was your inspiration for this project?
You know, I actually was moved mostly by curiosity when I started this project. I was in the States 3 years ago working for National Geographic on a completely different story. I was photographing collectors of dinosaurs, but one day I had a few hours off, and I decided to went inside a gun shop just by curiosity, because I've been traveling in the US for more than 15 years now, but I simply realized that I never went in a gun shop, even if I saw many all around the country. And going inside, I basically discovered a world that I was not imagining, because I was, thinking that they would sell simply guns, but they were selling machine guns and rifles and bazookas. And so I started to speak with a client, one of the customers, and I asked him if he was buying his first gun. And he said, "Oh, of course not, I have more than 60. And I immediately said, "Can I come and take a picture of you with your guns?" And that was the first picture that I took for the project. And it happened basically because I was curious to understand more about a topic that it's probably a lot in the news, especially recently, but it's something that I didn't know anything about. And so I simply decided to discover a bit more about this topic.
So tell us a little bit more about what surprised you most when working on this project and meeting so many different kinds of people from different backgrounds.
Yeah, I think that the thing that surprised me the most are numbers, basically. Even if I photographed people, but I feel like I basically photographed numbers at this time. And my photos are a bit like infographic, because as you were telling, in the US, there are more guns than people. There are more than 400 million guns registered, and the owners are a bit more than 90 millions of people. So the numbers are telling that these people have a lot more than one. And I, my passion is always been to photograph people at home with the things they like to have. So I made a project on children and toys and food and medicines. And this time I said, I want to focus on this relationship that Americans have with guns. And so, yeah, I decided to photograph these numbers, basically.
And I'm going to pull up a couple photos. I know we've been showing some of them, but I want you to explain a little bit about them to our viewers. I want to first start with this one. It was your idea to line up this person's guns in the shape of the United States. So what more did you learn from the people you spoke to about their connection between guns and American patriotism? Because you're coming at this uniquely because you're Italian. You presumably live, I know you're in Italy right now, presumably live there. Obviously different culture. So tell us a little bit more about what you learned between the connection of guns and American patriotism.
Yeah, what I learned is basically, I think that the relationship that I photographed, it's basically a love relationship. That's something that I said often in interviews, because the people that I met, especially in the past few days, I gave quite a lot of interviews, and people are trying to make me say bad things about the subject that I photographed, but I cannot say anything bad about them. They are normal people that they love guns, and they have many guns because they can buy guns. And so I learned that it's not really a matter of weird people having many guns. It's really a cultural things that many Americans have. I think it's really a love relationship with gun.
What is it? What do the guns represent to some of the people that you met?
There are many things that they represent. Of course, the first feeling that I have towards guns is to have something that can protect them. So it's self-protection. But but it's also objects that they can use for fun. It's objects that they can use because they are stylish and they want to have these guns because they are cool. I photographed quite a lot of influencers, and they work for the gun industry, having profiles on Instagram where they promote uses of guns every day. And so the feelings and the reasons why they want to have guns are many. It's not only one. I mean, at least this is what I learned meeting 45 people. So I basically photographed 45 people. So I cannot speak for everyone. I can just tell you what I learned from the ones that opened the door to me.
Yeah, this is so fascinating. And that's why we wanted to have you on, just to learn a little bit more about your work and the stories behind these pictures, these photographs that you took. Gabriele, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.